Welcome to the Child Passenger Safety Training Program for Parents, Car Seat Loaner Program, presented by the Virgin Islands Office of Highway Safety's Occupant Protection Program. Thank you for your efforts to ensure your child's safety. A division of the Virgin Islands Police Department, the Virgin Islands Office of Highway Safety's mission is to reduce injuries and fatalities caused by unsafe traffic behaviors. Areas of focus include impaired and distracted driving, maintaining current and accurate traffic records, which helps us to identify areas of concern, motorcycle and bicycle safety, pedestrian safety, speeding, commercial vehicle safety, and the reason we are here, occupant protection. What is the Occupant Protection Program? This program's role is to keep drivers and their passengers safe within their vehicles through the use of seat belts, child car safety seats, and airbags. Through educational outreach efforts like this, the Child Passenger Safety Program aims to train community partners, parents, and the general community on safe restraint practices. Additionally, certified community partners man fitting stations throughout the territory where motorists with children can get advice and installation assistance on car safety seats for their children. We will learn more about these fitting stations later in the presentation. Why is child passenger safety important? CPS stands for Child Passenger Safety. It is an arm of the Occupant Protection Program with a focus on providing education and resources to parents and motorists with children to keep young passengers safe. When traveling on our Virgin Islands roads, the correct and consistent use of car seats, booster seats, or seat belts where appropriate will keep your child protected in a crash. Placing your child in the different stages of seats shown here is determined by your child's age, weight, and height. Refer to the manual that comes with your child's seat to determine the right time to transition from one stage to another. Although the seats manual is the best place to determine when your child is ready to transition to the next stage seat, our Virgin Islands law mandates that children are restrained in vehicles as follows. All children under the age of 14 are required to sit belted in the back seat of the vehicle. This means that no child from birth to age 13 should ever ride in the front seat. Children ages 8 and under are required to sit in an appropriate child restraint seat. According to Virgin Islands law, newborns should sit in a rear-facing seat until at least age 1. The law also states that children from ages 2 to 5 should sit secured in a forward-facing seat. From ages 5 to 8, or until your child is at least 4 foot 9 inches tall, children should sit in a booster seat. Be reminded that the law requires that all children under 14, whether in a car seat or seat belt, should sit in the back seat of the car. This is the safest place for your child. However, because each child develops differently, the ages mentioned in our law are to be used as a guide. Please consult the manual that comes with your child's car seat to determine the maximum and safest amount of time to keep your child in that seat. As a parent, you are your child's first and best teacher. Your children learn most of what they know by observing you. When you consistently buckle up, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're also teaching your children the habits that they need to develop and maintain a culture of safety. Be a good role model. Always wear a lap and shoulder belt on every trip, no matter how far or how fast you are going. People who buckle up have a better chance of surviving a crash. Unbuckled occupants become projectiles in a crash, sustaining potentially life-threatening injuries. Notice the difference in the crash outcomes for both children. The child in the car seat is obviously safer than the unrestrained child. There's no excuse not to buckle up. Remember, in the Virgin Islands, no child younger than 14 should ever sit in the front seat. The reason for this is simple. The force of a deployed airbag can cause significant damage to fragile bodies. Airbags are designed to be used with seatbelts to keep adult passengers safe. In the event of a crash, the back seat is the safest place, especially for young, developing bodies with soft bones. Avoid distractions when driving. Anything that takes your attention away from driving safely increases your chances of being in a crash. If you must shift your focus, pull over. Staying focused protects you, your passengers, and others who share our roads. Why should we use car seats consistently? According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, the correct use of car seats is proven to reduce the risk of fatal crash injuries for children. As a matter of fact, the risk of infants dying in a crash is reduced by 71% by using a car seat. For toddlers, this risk is reduced by 54%, and for children sitting in booster seats, 45%. The outcomes for children sitting unrestrained or improperly restrained are every parent's nightmare. According to the Centers for Disease Control, or the CDC, about half of the children that die in car crashes are unrestrained, no seatbelts. The CDC also reported that transportation-related injuries was the #1 cause of death for children in the United States. This is especially true for children ages 5 to 19, where motor vehicle crashes were the #1 killer. Of course, these numbers do not account for children who were injured, children who required medical care, or children who sustained lifelong injuries as a result of crashes. Car seats and the use of seatbelts are proven strategies in keeping our children safe. Let's start by talking about rear-facing seats. Rear-facing seats are required by law for newborns up to age 1. However, before you transition your child from a rear-facing seat, remember to consult your manual to determine the maximum height and weight limits. There are two types of rear-facing seats. The infant-only seat can only be used rear-facing and usually has a handle that allows the parent to use the seat as a carrier. The convertible and all-in-one seats are money savers as they can transition or grow with your child. Facing an infant to the rear reduces the baby's risk of sustaining neck and spinal injuries in a crash. How, you ask? Let's take a look. Now let's think about an infant facing forward. Remember, the head is the heaviest part of the child's body. Even if in a crash the car seat stays in place, the child, head first, will continue forward until the straps stop it. The force of an infant's head whipping forward on the soft bones and tissues of the neck and spinal cord will cause certain life-threatening injuries or even death. Now let's turn the seat around to face the back. In this position, the force of the crash is evenly spread across the back and lower body of the infant, causing significantly less impact. The American Academy of Pediatricians urges parents to keep their children rear-facing up to the age of 2 or as long as the seat allows. Check your seat's manual to determine the height and weight limits for rear-facing positioning and keep them in this position for as long as it is safe. When your child has outgrown his rear-facing seat, it's time to transition him into a forward-facing seat. By law, this stage is for children ages 2 to 5. However, we know that we rely on the guidance provided by our car seat manual to make safe decisions based on our child's age, weight, and height. Forward-facing seats have a 5-point harness system designed to spread the force of the crash evenly across the child's body. The 5-point system shares the crash force across the child's shoulders, that's 2 points, both hips, points 3 and 4, and finally between the legs, point 5, protecting the neck, stomach, and other internal organs. Some rear-facing seats can transition into forward-facing seats, and some forward-facing seats can transition into a booster seat. Refer to the seat's manual for the features of your seat. These are great money-saving features, but if your seat is not designed to transition, it is never safe to use it in a way unintended by the manufacturer. A tether is a strap with a hook on its end that is attached to the top of the forward-facing car seat. Refer to your car's manual to locate the tether anchors in your vehicle. The hook attaches to the tether anchor in the vehicle, preventing the child's head from falling forward by as much as 4 to 6 inches in a crash. So using a tether significantly reduces the risk of head injuries for your child. Positioning your child in the seat is as important as correctly installing the seat. Your child's safety depends on safe positioning. In a rear-facing seat, you position the harness straps at or slightly below the child's shoulders. The harness holds the child down low in the seat so the child does not slide up and out of the seat in a crash. The crotch strap keeps the baby from moving forward. If the crotch strap is too far forward, the child will slump, causing breathing issues. In a forward-facing seat, position the harness strap slightly above the child's shoulders. Be sure to tighten the straps so that you cannot pinch any slack in the webbing. If you can pinch the webbing, the straps are too loose and must be tightened. Close the chest clip and move it to the middle of the chest between the armpits. Never add pillows, cushions, or bulky clothing in a car seat. They will prevent a tight fit and increase the risk of injury in a crash. According to the Virgin Islands law, booster seats are appropriate for 5 to 8-year-olds. But we know that we will refer to our seat manual to determine the appropriate and safe weight and height for each seat. The booster seat, which is simply placed on the back seat, lifts your child so that the adult seat belt fits better, safely. Always use the lap and shoulder belt together. Using the lap belt alone can cause serious injuries to your child's internal organs in a crash. When used correctly, the shoulder belt passes over the child's shoulder, never the neck or face. The lap belt should fit snugly on the upper thighs or low on the hips, never across the stomach. Again, seat belt positioning is critical so that the force of the crash is spread across strong bones, the shoulders, and the hips, not the organs. There are two types of booster seats, the high back and the no back. The high back provides support for the child's head and is best used when the seat of the car offers no head or neck support. Never allow your child to put the seatbelt under the arm or behind the back. This can cause serious injuries in a crash. Remember, the seatbelt is designed to pass across the strongest parts of the body, the bones. If this little girl got into a crash, the force of the impact would violently fold her body in half, forcing the belt into her and causing serious internal injuries. If the seatbelt is uncomfortable, the child is probably placed in the wrong seat. Again, refer to the manual to ensure that your child's height and weight are booster seat ready. How do you know when your child is ready to use a seatbelt without a safety seat? A child is ready to use seatbelt only when he is at least 4 foot 9 inches tall, can sit all the way back on the vehicle seat without slouching, and hang his knees over the edge of the vehicle seat with his feet on the floor. The seat belt passes over the shoulder, not the neck, and over his hips, not his stomach. Until you can check all of those boxes, your child should remain in a booster seat. Do not be in a hurry to transition your child out of his correct stage seat. This is about safety, not about being cool. Even if your child's peers have transitioned, avoid regrets by doing what is best for your child's development. Remember to use a seatbelt every time you're in a car. Never put it under the arm, and keep all children ages 13 and under in the back seat. This presentation has provided you with a wealth of information. What else do you need to know? Let's talk about registering your car seat. Families should always complete and submit the registration card that comes with the new seat. This process allows the manufacturer to communicate with you about important information like safety updates or recall information. Like many other products, safety seats are recalled for various reasons like crashworthiness or missing labels. Registering your seat guarantees you access to timely and critical information about your seat. Did you know that car seats have an expiration date? A typical car seat has a life of about 6 years. The manufacturer cannot guarantee the strength and safety of the seat's material after expiration. Be sure to check your manual and the labels on the seat to learn the expiration date. After a seat has been involved in a crash, it should be replaced. Cracks in the body and its lining reduce the seat's integrity. Resist using a second-hand seat, especially if you do not know the seat's history. Do you know if it was involved in a crash? Do you know the expiration date? Do not compromise your child's safety to save a few dollars. This reminds me, if your seat was involved in a crash or has expired, please be sure to completely disable the seat so that no one else can use it. CPS technicians are stationed throughout our community and are trained to provide you with expert fitting advice and installation assistance. Contact your Office of Highway Safety to find a CPS technician near you. Even more information can be found in your car seat manual, on the stickers placed directly on your car seat, on your car seat manufacturer's website, through certified CPS technicians throughout our community, and of course, through your Virgin Islands Office of Highway Safety. Thank you for participating in the Virgin Islands Office of Highway Safety CPS training for parents. We hope that you have gained the information needed to make the commitment to safely secure your children in the right seat every trip, no exceptions. Thank you for keeping our children safe. Buckle up, VI. Every trip, everyone, every time.